A good morning to you all, and a big hello wherever you're tuning in from today. It's Kate from Zen Stitching, and I'm joining you again for another of our conversations with artists in the lead up to the Making Zen Online Retreat. So there's a little bit of fun for everyone. We've got an amazing event lined up. Not only do we have fabulous speakers, but we've also got some really cool sponsors, and they're giving away really cool prizes this time around. So if you'd like the chance to win some really cool things, pop over and check out our Facebook group, Making Zen, and then you can win some of the really cool things too. If you haven't yet already, you can sign up. It's a free ticket for the event. You can check it out at makingzen.com. And one of the great things that we're going to do this time around is we're going to be awarding one person who would like a creative fellowship, and that means you get access to all of the Zen stitching libraries, the Sashiko Stitch Club, all of the different projects that are have been taught over the years, indigo, natural dyeing, a whole lot of cool stuff. So go over and check it out. But without further ado, today we are going to be speaking with Darcy Hunter, a person who lives just around the corner from me pretty much, which is super fun. So let's see if I can get her to connect. Here we go. There we are. Hello, how are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm really well and really excited to be talking with you.
I'm the same.
How are you this morning? I was just saying you're just up the road from us.
Yeah, it's not too far away. The next province over.
Yeah. Did you get any snow this morning?
No, did you?
No, no, it was predicted. Probably in the hills, I'd say, but just around us, it was like frozen
Uh,
stuff.
okay, we just had rain.
Fudge.
We've been having rain, and it's just kind of a dreary day here. So the
Yeah,
beginning of the winter season coming on.
yeah. A good day to be inside
That's
creating.
right.
Yeah. And I'm so thrilled that you're joining us because you've got a really fabulous workshop that you've planned for us. Would you like to, gosh, before I jump in the deep end, because you have such an amazing background behind you, would you like to tell us where you are and what we're looking at?
Okay. I'm in my studio, and I have a tendency to be unorganized and get frustrated. So probably it might have been during COVID. I decided I wanted to really organize this behind me and make it look really nice. And it's been great because every time I go on video, people are like, "Oh my God, it's great!" But it brings me joy. So sometimes it's difficult to get yourself together, but once you do, it just makes things so less frustrating for you. So I can pick a blue. I know I have all my blues separate, and I can pick a blue that I need, and I can quickly see what I have. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, well, I'm so impressed, and I'm impressed it stayed like that since COVID time because I would do it and then it would turn into a shambles pretty quickly afterwards. What's the
once a
secret?
year,
What's the
yeah,
tip? To,
once a year I give my studio a quick tidy. So in January I'll go through everything and get rid of things because you know how makers we quickly gather things that we don't need. If people give us stuff, we want to keep it.
Mm,
So I go through and pass along things that I know I'm not going to use. And some days I'm not inspired. I come in here, I start doing that, and I get inspired, like to organize. So yeah.
oh, that's a really good tip just there. I love how you just flippantly threw that out, but that's such a really good piece of advice.
Yes, I try to go into my studio every day, no matter what kind of mood I'm in. And usually once I'm in here, if I'm tidying or putting your fabrics away from another project, you quickly get inspired and you just start. And that's the thing I've learned because years ago I didn't really have a studio per se and or a space that I could call my own. And I never worked on things. I didn't take the time. I would always put it off. But now, if I'm
Mm.
in my studio, it starts from there. So,
Oh, I love it. And what kind of things do you like to make with that beautiful organized fabric that you have?
Now, this is just a small amount of things that I have. I have cupboards full of yarns and upholstery fabrics and a whole bunch of different things. But I make landscapes, and I make really big landscapes. I'm inspired by our natural world, and as a lot of us are. And I spend a lot of time out in the wilderness and kayaking and such. And so I will make big landscapes, like 20 by 30 inches, which I mostly make on my sewing machine. I have a large sewing machine and a small one, but I also add those last details with hand stitching. And lately, I've been wanting to do more and be more creative, so I've been making a lot of smaller pieces. And that way I can take them with me and I don't have to drive because I'm working, and my husband drives. We're traveling somewhere. It's perfect.
That's a very good use of time.
Yeah.
And you don't have to drive. And I'm curious, with the larger pieces that you're talking about, do you see them as art quilts or do you frame them so that they're more like a canvas? How do you like to display them and use them?
Okay. I do a lot of different finishes. I do a lot of commissions as well. Like if people will send me a photo of a special place to them, and I usually give them the option. Do you want an art quilt, or do you want it framed behind glass, or do you want it wrapped on a canvas? So I do all different things. I think my favorite lately has been putting them on canvas because you can see everything really well, or like a large art quilt, you can see it really well.
Mm.
And I think people that aren't in textiles don't think it's art unless it's on a canvas. So the art quilt itself, while hanging, it's not looked at as art as much, but we're getting there. It's happening. But the wrapping on canvas kind of makes people think, oh, yeah, it is a piece of art. So,
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear that you've had that experience from all three different ways of pretty much presenting the same thing, but just in slightly different ways.
hmm
Yeah, and I love it. I'm thrilled that textiles is being recognized as an art form.
hmm
It's something, because going to art school many years ago, um, textiles for me was always, because I'm a textile artist as well, was always lumped in there like, oh, that's just a craft, just a craft.
yeah, yeah,
And it used to bug me all the time, this is coming from sculptors and painters and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't agree with you. So it's great that we're slowly changing our perception out there that it is just as creative as painting and sculpting and photography and all those kind of
yeah.
good things too.
Yes. And I had never even heard of art quilting before when I started traditional quilting. I'd never even heard of it. And then I always broke the rules with quilting. I would, how they want your seams perfect. And I just didn't enjoy following all those rules.
Mm.
And they brought in an art quilter to our quilt guild. And I had never even heard of art quilting, and I was just like, it was like, the heavens opened up, and I'm like, this is what I need to be doing, because I always loved painting. I love landscapes, so it allowed me to kind of use my fabric as paint instead
Mm.
of making squares and making my seams perfect, which is kind of sometimes a little difficult.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I admire people who can do that.
I do too. And
I
yes,
really do.
nothing against the traditional quilters. My mom is a traditional quilter. She does everything by hand, like
What did
does the
she?
final quilting by hand, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
But it's just not me.
yeah.
It's just not what brings me joy. So,
Well, that's fair enough too. I love hearing about the way you like to create, and I'm really curious, how did your journey take you to being where you are here? Did you start drawing first and then you wanted to translate it into fabric, or were you always interested in fabric and just wanted to create using what you had tactile in a tactile
mhm,
sense?
mhm. Well, my I've been creative all my life, which a lot of us have been, and I did a lot of drawing. I made cartoons and always sketched. Um, but there was an elderly lady that lived across the street from me when I was a kid, and she never had children of her own. So she kind of took me under her wing and she taught me how to crochet, that fine crochet. I don't do it anymore, but that really fine crocheting and knitting. And that's where it all started with textiles for me, and just the feel of holding it in your hands and touching it.
Mm.
It's very tactile, of course. So I really enjoyed it. So as I grew up, I started painting. I went through the phase toll painting. I don't know if many of you've heard of that, but I started there. I did some watercolor classes. Um, and when I saw that art quilter, I was like, this is perfect. I can paint, but I can paint fabric. So that's where
Yeah.
it all came together for me, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, how wonderful. And you've never looked back.
Never looked back. No.
How long have you been doing this style of work with the kind of the tech painting with textiles,
So,
so to speak?
so right after that art quilter came to our guild, I decided to start experimenting. I pretty much taught myself everything that I do now. I just look at other people's work and say, how do they do that? And I'll experiment with it. Um, but when that art culture came, I made a couple little landscapes and put them into my local quilt show. And it was in a hotel. And the lady, the manager's wife of the hotel said, can we put your art into our hotel? And I teared up and started, what? You think it's that good? And it was just like one of the first things that like I had made as an art quilt. And so that started it for me. I opened a little shop in her hotel with some other artisans, and also opened an Etsy shop, and that was in 2014. And so I've had an Etsy shop since 2014, and it's just gone on from there, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Oh, oh, that is so fun. I love hearing that kind of those serendipitous
Mhm.
events, which you've kind of, we were talking yesterday about how if you're open to what the universe is trying to tell you, you kind of guides you very gently through a
Mhm.
fun and fabulous journey. And it sounds like that's what your life has been.
Yes, it has been. I'm actually, I went back to school to be, I have a science degree. I don't know why. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a bit.
What
And
kind of science?
uh,
What kind of science?
biology
Yeah.
and psychology.
Yeah.
But then I went back to school to be a teacher, probably about, when was that? 2008, I think, 2007. And so I'm a teacher by trade, an elementary teacher, and I love teaching. But it's gradually dwindled for me because I've been concentrating more on my art and actually teaching my art. So I've
Mm.
taught kids. I do work in the school some, and I also teach workshops. And I have an online course right now, and I'm working on creating more because I just find it brings me such joy that I want to share it with everyone. Like I get so excited. My husband thinks I'm crazy half the time because I'm like so excited. But I just love talking about it, and I love giving people the confidence. A lot of people say, "I can't do that. I'm not creative." Everything you can do anything you want. You set your mind to. You just need to practice
Mm.
and jump in and start with something small that's not precious. Um, I'm a big believer of that. Like anybody could do what I'm doing. It's just a matter of spending the time and learning and practicing.
Yeah. It's true, isn't it? I mean, like if you think about it, it's just like reading or writing or any of the skills that we have. Like we forget how much time it took for us to learn these skills to
Mhm.
be proficient at it. And being creative, I think, is the same. Not to mention your wonderful tip of just going in and straightening up things and ideas will come to you. So that's another way. But even just playing, like the moment you start playing and putting things together, and I think the word play is very important. Like keep it fun and lighthearted rather than getting serious because then it just gets heavy.
Yes, exactly. And this is supposed to be fun, not frustrating. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's one of
exactly.
my big things when I'm teaching a workshop. I'm just like, just try making your own. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. I've made many things that I'm not happy with, but slap another piece of fabric over top and stitch again.
Oh,
Like, Going, don't give up.
Not to mention too, like sometimes a couple of things when you're feeling frustrated in some of these creative areas, that's an area an opportunity to push through and learn something new, probably about yourself as well as the technique.
Hmm.
I always find that that's what happens for me. And in that same kind of vein, making mistakes, I think, is part of the creative process, which
Exactly.
should be embraced because mistakes are where the magic happens
Yes.
if we reframe the way we look at it. So it's no longer a mistake, but a learning opportunity,
Hmm.
and something fun can come from it.
And a lot of people, well, sometimes they think, I know my mom is really hard on herself. Like sometimes she's like, this is, like, she points out her errors, and a lot of quilters do that. They point out what's wrong. Just say
Mm,
thank you when somebody gives you a compliment. Don't point out the errors, because a lot of times those errors is what makes it special and makes it yours and makes it handmade. And I was talking to a jeweler the other day. I was at a show on Sunday, and we were talking about art and how different things, people see art differently. And she said, yeah, I burned a hole in an earring the other day, and I made them into this piece of art with the big hole that she burned into it. She said people just loved this piece of jewelry, and it sold like right away. So other people look at it differently. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Not to mention too, particularly with the fine work and textiles that we can often do, we're so close to it that we really do need to take a step back and realize that that tiny, tiny stitch
Mhm.
might not be so visible from far away, particularly if you're not wearing your glasses.
Exactly. My dad always says to my mom, so nobody's going to see that driving by at 50 miles an hour.
Mm. Yeah, it's important. It's really important to kind of just keep it all into perspective. And I'd love to hear, if you even have it with you, I'd love to see what you're planning to share at the Making Zen online
Yeah.
retreat.
So I have it right here. So this is amethyst glow is what I called it, and it's just a tree, and it's kind of fallish colors. I decided purples. I love purple, so the tree's
Mm.
actually purple yarn. And I've done some beading and some basic stitches. Like this is a whip stitch on the edge of the landscape. Um, the lazy daisy stitch into a stem stitch. I'm still learning stitches. I don't know all the stitches, but this is basically a lazy daisy over and over and over again. And I just show you how to make the trunk and the yarns by just using like a group of um, yarns like this. I just actually grabbed this before I came on the call. I'm like, I had taken this off a piece of burlap,
Ah,
and I'm like, ooh, what can I do with that? It kind of looks like grasses. So that's where the tree started. I was like,
mm.
oh, I'm gonna put some yarns together, and that's what I came up with, I guess.
Oh, that is so much fun. The picture you showed us is so beautiful. Is it inspired by a scene or is it something that kind of just came to you? I love hearing the creative process of how that tree just came into
Well,
being.
have you ever been out walking and see these gnarly old trees? I just think they're beautiful. Like and their branches aren't perfect. They're all bent. And so a lot of my art has trees in it. I really love looking at trees and all the language of trees as well, like what the things that it does to survive. And the leaves on trees are beautiful. There's just so many things that make a tree special, I
Mm,
guess, and I love them. Yeah.
mm, they really are. And I love the colors that you've used for that in particular. The purples really make me think of kind of the evening or early morning light,
Hmm.
probably more evening light, and kind of around this time of year where we've got the real golden colors and then the kind of the shadows that are the purples.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
And that trees aren't purple, but and I used to be so perfect and make everything realistic, but it's so much more fun when you pick just a random color and use it to make something that's supposed to be brown. I made it purple. So, and that's okay. Once you get it all together, it just, I don't know, it comes together.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And not to mention you then come in and add some beautiful details with beads for leaves and all that kind of thing too. So it's really a lovely uh, would you say mixed media in a sense because you're working with the wools and beads and those kind of
Uh,
things?
and I have added paper to some of my projects as well. I should mention, this all started like when you accepted me to do a workshop. I was like, so what am I going to do? What can I teach? And I have so many ideas in my head. Sometimes it's hard to narrow it down.
Mm.
But I had been doing the 100-day project, and I did 100 days of textile minis. I didn't do 100 pieces, but I worked on them almost every day or tried to.
Mm.
And so I have actually a couple here that I could show you. So I put them, they're about 4.5 by 4.5, and I mounted them onto a canvas. And then this is just like a wood frame around it. So I
Mm.
made over 40 of these. So I'm still I'm just finishing up with these. And uh, so the project that I did was based on that. Like I just came up with a new project. So
Oh, how
yeah.
much fun. And I love how with the 100-day project you participated, but instead of having the say the goal of having something finished on a daily basis, which to me is overwhelming, which is why I never start it. Although I love the idea of doing it.
Yes,
I love
yes,
how you've just said I participated in it and created from, with that same intention.
yes. I actually was being really hard on myself because I wasn't keeping up with the daily practice of stitching. And my business gets in the way. Friends come over, you have company, whatever. And somebody said to me, nobody really cares if you didn't do it in the 100 days. Like, just do it for yourself.
Mm,
So I don't necessarily do it every day, but I'm spending 100 days creating these projects.
mm,
And that's when I realized I'm preaching to the choir, because I was hard on myself for something that's so silly. I put that pressure onto myself. I'm like, why do I have to do it in 100 days? I don't have to do it in 100 days. I can do it the days I can and still work on them in that 100-day time frame, because the 100-day project is way over, but I'm still doing it.
Oh, that's so much fun and such wise words of wisdom. And thinking about, and I love how this project that you're teaching grew from the experience of the 100-day project. Did you set yourself for the 100-day project parameters, like you were going to do a certain size or a certain theme, or what kind of parameters did you put in place for that?
So every piece is based on a 4.5 piece of canvas or batting. So that's where it started. And then I was like, they need something else. So then I got the canvases. And then at the end, I ended up with the frames. So I've got 40 pieces in those nice frames, but they're all different colors. I have all white here beside me, but I can show you another one. So they're all either on a
Oh,
black
beautiful.
canvas or a white canvas. And then I painted all these frames different colors. I have a wood one, and white and black. So that's where it just kind of grew from. I had no idea what I was going to be doing with them, but yeah, the show I was at on Sunday, I unveiled them, and everybody was really excited and really liked, that you could see each piece, because I used to do everything behind glass, and it's really hard to see, especially with reflections. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing with textiles, isn't it? Because it's nice to have them behind glass to keep them clean, but
exactly,
it's a barrier to seeing the like the actual textures and all the
exactly.
richness that textile pieces have.
Hmm.
So well, whereabouts is the exhibition for people who might be able to come by and see it? Is it still up?
That was just like a day show, but
Ah,
few more shows coming up in here in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Mhm.
One is called the Holly Jolly Market, and I will be right as soon as you come in the door. I have the first booth coming in, and that is November 23rd weekend, I think, November 23rd and
Okay.
24th. And then there's also a group called Craft and Bee, and so it has artisans that do all different things like pottery and painting. And we're doing a show at the Beaverbrook Art Gallery here in Fredericton, and that is December 7th and 8th, I believe. And it's in this beautiful atrium. It's beautiful, lots of light. It's a lovely place to um, see all different kinds of art. The lighting in there is really, really nice. So we'll have jewelers and potters and all different artisans, and I'll be one of the lucky people showing my things as well.
Oh, how fabulous. Ah, well, I could imagine they would just be so delightful to see in person because seeing them on the screen, you get
It's not
a
the same.
beautiful taste of what they are. But
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, to see anything in the flesh is always just so much more rich and vivid. And it's so lovely. Ooh, I'm so excited by your workshop, but also what you're providing for the bonus as well. Would you like
Yeah,
to share what that is?
yeah. So this is, I think I called it Whispers of the Deep. So this is the second piece. I decided why won't I do another one? So this is Whispers of the Deep. It has beading and a lot of I just basically use like scarf and organza. There's some lace on here. There's some upholstery fabrics and eyelash yarns, and there's beading down the bottom. So I really had fun with this one, and when I'm doing the workshop, I talk through my process too. Like for example, when I did the tree, I didn't know if I was going to add beads or not. So
Mhm.
I kind of do it as I go, and I don't put pressure on myself for the finished product. I kind of work my way through and talk to myself. Oh, what did that need? What's missing? Do I need another piece of fabric on there? So you can really get really good insight onto how I actually create these pieces. Um, and get started on your own. I'm also going to be hopefully getting an online course to go more into detail with these. So I've enjoyed them so much. So hopefully, I am just finishing up this pendant course. I don't know if you can see the pendant. Maybe I should take it off.
Mm.
But these are actually all stitched under glass. And I'm
Ooh.
putting on an online course for this as well.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is just a basic one, but I do a little landscapes, but you could do a tree or what have you, and put them into, they're called pendant trays and with a glass cover over top to frame
What a treat. Oh, I see love is coming in through the comments as well. Lots of people are getting seriously excited by that. And I think it's such a generous way of sharing not only your creativity and way of making with making these projects, but sharing your creative process is that to me, I think is just invaluable, like or priceless, that kind of thing because I think we learn best when we can watch how others work. And so
Mhm.
it's almost like I'm assuming sitting there next to you in the workshop whilst you're going, maybe I should do this, and I think it needs something else. And you can kind of follow along and follow your thought process, which I think is so beautiful for sharing. Thank you.
No, wow. I really do have a lot of joy sharing what I do, and I'm very open to questions or concerns, or if somebody doesn't quite understand. Like I have patterns and kits on in my Etsy shop, and people will reach out to me and just ask for more information if it's not um, quite clear to them. And I also have a YouTube channel too, and I'm trying to put more and more on there, just so people really understand, because I know being a teacher, people learn differently, and sometimes having it written doesn't quite um, doesn't quite explain it well enough. But if you have it in a video and you actually see me working on what I'm doing, it kind of comes together for you a bit better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so Wonderful. Well, Darcy, I could spend all day chatting with you. I've really enjoyed our conversation and hearing about your creative processes, but I am mindful of your time. Thank you so much for joining me today for a chat and for being part of Making Zen.
Yeah.
I'm super excited that you're sharing your techniques with us, and I know everybody's going to have such an amazing experience as
Oh, there's
well.
so many talented people out there that are. I've watched Making Zen, I think the last 3 or 4 years, and I've always thought, well, maybe I could be a teacher. So I actually reached out to you, and thank you so much for including me because um, it's really been a lot of fun, and it's pushed me out of my comfort zone too. Technology is not always my strong point, but I've been working really hard to get everything right and ready for the Making Zen retreat.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh,
Thank
well,
you. Thank you.
you're most welcome. You're most welcome. And I'm thrilled as well. And I can't wait. So Monday the 18th through to Friday the 22nd. Can
Mhm.
you remind me what day your workshop is on?
I think it's Tuesday. I think it's
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Sounds right. Yeah. So for people who haven't yet, sign up for your free ticket. All the information is on the website, makingzen.com. If you haven't already, pop over and check out Darcy's beautiful Instagram page and all the links through to your amazing online presence. And until then, uh, many happy hours of
It
stitching.
was really nice to talk to you, Kate. Thank you.
You
Have
too.
a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.